And I'd like to welcome to the stage Dr. Siggy Isele. He's going to talk
Hey,
about basically being Swiss, honestly, but Swiss engineering. So take it away, sir.
thank you. So first of all, as you say, take the Swiss. We are running late. We started 1 minute late. I'm sorry. I had told you yesterday. Swiss people are fucking precise. Sorry, I have to say beep. I have learned from my friends. You don't use those words. You beep always. But sorry for that. Afterwards, when you record all of that, you have to beep the later on. So anyway, great to meeting you today. And first of all, thanks to the organizers. This is a event. This is blasting. What I have seen the last days, so the last 2 days, and also today already, it's really enormous what they made. And I'm traveling around here frequently. And on the Monday, I was in Nebraska at the Lincoln University for discussion. And yeah, so I have seen a lot of different meetings and stuff like that. And really, thank you to the organizer and also thank you to you. So that minute is okay. Good. So, but first of all, before we start, was anybody of you already in Switzerland anytime? Perfect. You're my host. You're my assistant. Come over. I need your help. Yeah, because it's pretty simple. Swiss people have to travel with chocolates. So if you can share with the audience, and it's up to you how much leftover is for you. And by the way, on those, I never travel with business cards. Those chocolates are my business cards. There's a QR code on. So if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, feel free to scan the QR code. Otherwise, dump it and eat the chocolate and enjoy the chocolates. I don't worry. Good. So saying that, yeah, everybody is talking about AI. AI is the hype. AI is the big, big thing. I'm the ugly person who is not talking about AI because I'm coming from the legacy modernization side. I'm an old COBOL developer. Perhaps anybody knows that still, some of you probably. So what we are doing mainly is to bring the old stuff to a new world before you put AI on top, and then we hand it over. Because you have to sort the things, you have to prepare the things. Because otherwise, if you want to leverage the chaos, put AI on top on all of that without cleaning the data, without cleaning the systems and stuff like that. And this is where we are coming into the place. Our headquarters is in Switzerland. We have a business also here in the US in Florida. Probably because of the weather. It's more nice than if you go to, I don't know, anywhere where it's getting cold in the winter, cold we have in Switzerland by ourselves. So saying that, this is a little bit the background. But what I want to talk about today is all of you know Agile, probably. I assume so, right? So, and when we think about the new things, AI, there's not a big difference to all the development we had in the past. So when we think about Agile, Scrum, or DevOps, or all that cybersecurity things, there was always one thing. We have to take responsibility. Anybody has to take responsibility. And the person in an Agile team which is taking responsibility, mainly the core person is the product owner. Because the product owner is defining what needs to be done step by step and is taking clear that not tons of things are blasting into all of the day-by-day work, that the teams can work. But what I've never had in any discussion is, and perhaps you correct me, but have you or has the company you're working with an AI product manager? Has anybody of your company or the companies you're working with an AI product manager? None? You have some? How did you come to that point that you need one of those people? You don't. Okay. So, okay, sorry. Misinterpreted your yes. It was a little bit the Indian touch of yes and no. Sorry, don't get me wrong. No. Yeah, but this is the thing. When we talk about that, my main saying always is control first, then autonomy. That doesn't mean I'm against the AI and what we all can use. But like building a house, and I'm from Switzerland, so our houses are really robust built. And as I told you yesterday, you know, big, thick foundations, thick walls, stuff like that. It lasts for ages, for years, for hundreds. Um, and what we need to do is, for sure, on the one hand, to think about how we can grow in the agile, what we can use. But if we use only this snippet and that snippet and that snippet, because it's good in the marketing, it's good in the sales, it's good in this and that, then we get in trouble at any time. Because I don't know if it was you where I was talking, would you like to be that guy who beep has to take that stuff on the next Monday morning and has to take care and maintain it? And if you have your models, if you grow your models, if you have different departments and you have to grow all of that more and more, then it is getting difficult to keep it alive. This is the one thing. The other thing is, and I'm not a friend of going through all the slides, but if anybody wants to go for the slides, for sure, I will share with you the slides after. Just text me on LinkedIn. But the main thing what we must keep in mind is, beside the usage of the AI and the costs of the AI directly for tokens, for whatever it is, how do we maintain that? How we train the people for that? How we can keep it alive? And this is what we can learn from Agile. When we look for the teams, we give autonomy to the teams. And let me guess, most of you which have worked in Agile or in Scrum methodology were struggling once in a while when the management was coming back to micromanagement. Because thank you. Because the micromanagement is still alive. These beep Excel spreadsheets are really there. And let me give you an example, because, yeah, as I said, I'm running a company with different locations. But once in a while, the clients want to take me into the project, which is great. I like to work on projects because by heart, by DNA, I'm a developer. I was taking over the responsibility in a program management for a big insurance company in Europe with a team of about 250 people working every day on that project only. So a huge team. And we started with Agile. We started with Scrum. We started with passion on all of that. And after 9, 10 months, the first Excel spreadsheet came around the corner. Exactly. I was laughing loud. And so I was going to the board because I had to report to the board every 2 weeks. And or a little bit different. They called me in because they wanted to have a knowledge of the status of the project. And what we do when we talk and when we are developers, we never wear business suits. So I was called to the board meeting, walking in a similar dress like that. You can imagine the higher guys didn't like that. So then the head of what was it? Chief sales officer, blah, 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 whatever, was pretty quick and said, leave the room, you're not well dressed. I said, okay, you called me, I'm leaving. So I was in front of the door. Then the CEO was stopping me and saying, we need your knowledge, but why you don't wear a business suit? I said, nobody has told me that I should show up today. I was in a Scrum planning here with the team. Why shall I wear a business suit? They all will think I'm crazy. So long story short, the CEO has kicked out all the board members of the room. And it was, you know, these big fancy rooms with double doors that you cannot hear anything outside. So he has moved all those people out, closed the doors and said, so, by the way, next time you have to have minimum a business jacket. But I think we need your knowledge, so let us play a little bit with that. So he called these people again in. I shared with them where we are, and also that there is an upcoming risk, especially on the micromanagement of some mid-level managers, which haven't got why we are doing it in that way. And we could continue working in Agile. Was great for 3 months. Then the rat in the wheel was running again. But why I'm saying that? First, they give the trust, they give the things to the people that we can do it. And the same is, and it doesn't matter if we do it in software development, in classical software development, or in AI topics. The AI is only bigger because it affects to much more areas. And who knows Conway's law from the 60s? Can anybody explain Conway's law in a quick sentence? Or let's shorten it in one phrase. You only get what you are used to and know. That means your organization is building the software only in the way as you are mature, as you know. This was in the 60s. So later on in the 90s, Scrum came up. Jeff Sutherland has written together the manuscript for Scrum. And recently I was talking and discussing with Jeff Sutherland at his house at home a little bit about those developments on that. And we figured out that really the real core of the things that if we want to go for and further is autonomy has to have an outcome, like in software development, like in Scrum. If there is, what is the outcome? If we look only from the helicopter, not from the result and what it is affecting to, then we get in trouble at the end for the real results. Because at the end of the day, you can give people responsibility when they know what is the goal. Not put in this for that, this for marketing, this for sales, this for, let me say, QA. There was a great discussion before here on stage about the QA. The main thing is you have to give the people the responsibility, but you have to keep the oversight. And this oversight has to be a human oversight, in my opinion, which is not only placing a human in the middle. A human with no power is only a person who is clicking the mouse because he, she cannot decide anything. You cannot control the things if you are only doing, there's a nice toy, thank you. You cannot bring that to that stuff, to that level, if you don't trust the people. And this is really often that first, in the first moment when the organization has understood that there has to be autonomy, that you get the results, what you agree to, that they rely on and that they give the power to those people. But as we had a discussion a little bit earlier, this is disappearing, and then the iteration of disappearing is faster, faster and faster. And that one project I told you in Germany, it was running about 2.5 years. So it was taking 3 months longer than planned to put that part of the legacy to a Java environment. And we were talking there about, it was in the health sector, 50 million, sorry, not thousand, 50 million patient documents for the last 10 years. So it was a huge data. And when you know insurance companies a little bit, how did they act in the past? There was a silo, there was a sales for car insurance, there was a sales for health insurance, there was a sales for life insurance, and so on. And all they have put their data into their CRMs, different CRMs most times, one them for the marketing. And now they want to use all of that. But I have investigated with my insurance company, I'm 5 times in their data, but not always with the same data. And if you put AI on top on that and you don't clean it out, then you get in trouble because the result will not get better. And I hardly believe in that companies, if they put the governance, the control, and the trust into the people for the oversight, they will not be so fast like the others which are just jumping into that. But on the long run, they will be succeeding. Because, you know, everybody is getting a little bit afraid when it comes to ROI discussions. And when I was on Monday in Lincoln, in Nebraska, I was asking the people, who is calculating a business case for a project? Who of you has already calculated business cases for projects? How many? Anybody? Nobody? Okay, so the thing is, if you have to calculate the budget for the project, you need to calculate also what is the business case, what is the outcome, what are the results, and at the end, what is the ROI. And there were some dedicated people which clearly were saying, yeah, we do that every day. And I said, how much do you calculate for AI maintaining, AI training over the different silos of the company, synchronizing all that stuff that we don't go into silo thinking back again? And he said, nothing. That's not my case. My case is only that. And that brings me again to that reality that when we don't take care about all of that, then we have the problem that we will not bring it together. And then it's not autonomous. It's a little bit here, a little bit there. And you never would do that in your private life. In your private life, if you build a house, if you buy a car, and so on. So you think about whatever this car should have as extras in the car or things like that. You have family, you have kids, you need this kind of seats. You think about those. You think about the surroundings. How long can I drive that car? What are the costs? Not only the lease, also the insurance and so on. But why don't we think about that in the projects? Because it's not sexy. It's not the hype. It's not what would like to get seen. And this is bringing us to a big, I just click through, so really it's not synchronized to the speech, but I can show you that I have created some slides. And yeah, but the main thing here is when we come to that point that if we don't take care about that and don't think on that on the long run and give the responsibility for the outcome to dedicated people, which are in charge, empowered, and also, for sure, will get blamed if it's not working, but also will get, as a big success, or they are a big success, or having that, when they accomplish it, then it will not work. And at the end of the day, we run into a revenue and into a money risk, because you probably all have seen that the hyperscalers, all the big AIs have increased the price. It was not long ago, 2, 3, 4 weeks, something. Amazon was the first, and then bum, 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 all the big hyperscalers, all the big AIs have followed. You know what DeepSeek did? You all know DeepSeek? Yeah, DeepSeek has frozen the price and guaranteed 5 years next, no price increase. That's the cheapest way for China to getting the data. Would we like to go for that? Yeah. Is it? Am I right or am I wrong?
What's they using the data for then?
I will pay with money or we pay with data. The thing is what you do out of that, but would you like to share that data for free and get it? Yeah. But that can happen because also on the Monday I had a discussion with 2 guys because I was asking there who is already using DeepSeek. And there were 2 guys in the auditorium of about 150 which were using already DeepSeek. And they said, whoop, my data is hosted in Houston, Texas. This is American data. And I said, really? But it's nothing different to what the US companies are doing. This is the big debate currently in Europe, because there is not any serious AI model currently. There's one out of France named Mirage. Normally, nobody in the US knows. But due to the Data Act, US can pull the data totally to the US. Also, if it's hosted in a German, Swiss, or wherever data center. Or we have, this morning I was reading, yeah. Honestly, is anybody giving a shit on that? Yeah, I know, I'm with you. In theory, yes, but GDPR is regulating the stuff in Europe. Is anybody outside, if they want to get the data, taken care of? I don't think so. For sure, SAP, for example, has to. And I was in Waldorf and having that discussion as well. But at the end, we have seen this morning was a message again that from ChatGPT, the latest model 5.6, is banned for Europe. So 2 weeks ago, Anthropic has been told these two new models are not for Europe. So if this geopolitical thing is coming into place additional, and you don't have this on your radar, and you build all your stuff on these models, and then they are disappearing, what will you do? Is your system still running independently and great if you don't have access anymore to that? Because you must rely on that. And this really brings, again, we have to have the ownership. Nice that this slide is currently popping up. And yeah, but these things are really relevant that we continue our business, because if we rely on such infrastructure, such systems, and the next day it's gone, I think the business will be gone. And this is a big risk. So that's why we need to have people with the ownership, which think about that scenario. And this is what I also mean with the maintaining costs, because putting in something new is pretty easy. It's like buying a new car. Buying a Ferrari, leasing a Ferrari is easy. If you have the right credit score, by the way, I don't have the right credit score in the US, because I have a Costco membership card since, I don't know, plenty of years. And they pushed me every quarter or so, go for a Costco Visa, blah, blah, blah card. Yeah. Okay, once in a while I said, okay, give me that card. I get the gasoline 5 cents cheaper every gallon or whatever they are advertising. And it was rejected because I have no credit score. So it is bad. And then I was calling that bank and asked them, so I have a 0 credit score? That is worse than a negative credit score. And they said, yes, in our analytics, it's better if you have been visible already, also with a negative mark, than with no marks. That's not a problem in general, but it's sometimes a problem at the gas stations, because honestly, I don't know why I have to enter my postal zip code at the gas station here in the US. But this is not working because we have 4 digits in Switzerland. So it is never working. So I always have to go in, and then something which Europeans probably never understand. The guy at the cashier desk asks me, how much you want to go for? I say, I want to fill this thing. Yeah, how many gallons? How many dollars? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, I have no clue. It's a rental car. I don't care. So I always tell them, maximum, full. And then they charge on my credit card $250. I don't have a big truck, just a reasonable car. But yeah, I get it back, so they charge it at the end only. But they block the credit card with $250 always. Yeah, but saying that, if you think a little bit further, and also the marketing of Costco probably never was thinking about such a scenario. For sure, it's only my personal thing. But if we run and look on a business from end to end, because at the end, the business will only succeed when it is running proper from end to end. Then we have to have also here that, and this is not only the human in the loop, it is a person in the oversight, which is having the overview of all of that. And this is the same what we did already, in my opinion, in Agile. But as said, it is really here why Agile failed in many enterprises. You see, autonomy versus accountability, or leadership design issue. Things like those. We really have to have this on the radar. We will reduce our speed of growing with AI tools if we respect that on the short run, 100%. But on the long run, we will succeed. And this is what we should come back to in our thinking. And this is what I'm talking most times in a business suit, for sure. Believe me, I have one. When I'm discussing with board members. And it's hard to find really people on board which are really pushing that in the way that they look into it on the long run. Because most times what they are doing is they think about quarters, results. Earlier there was a discussion about the stock market. For sure, this is driven by that. But that again brings us also into the risk situation. If there is a cheaper AI, let's go for that. We can save money. And at the end, you pay with the data. And that's why we need to see it in a total. And it's not a thing you do from now in a second. It's a thing you do over a period. It's a cultural thing. And perhaps I have a different opinion on that or a different perspective on that, because in Europe, especially in Switzerland, when there are things to decide, they will be decided by the people, and it will be discussed months ahead. So a long time before the people think about, discuss the things, inhale it. And it takes much longer for a decision in the first instance, but then it's solid like a rock. And how do you do it here in the US or in many, many other countries? There will be any decision taken, and afterwards you continue the discussion. And if you count that time into that, it's not faster. It's only postponed. And that's why I think we have to change the culture, and we have to come back to really that way of thinking. Because if we do so, the organizational design still matters. Oops, came up again. Not by accident, okay. And so that's why really when we talk about that, currently we have the situation, and we had that also in the beginning with Agile, the organization is not as fast growing as the AI possibilities. Because the AI is, you wake up in the morning and there's a new AI, or there's a new solution, or a new model, or whatever. You get bombarded by all those possibilities. And because of that, let's figure out a healthy way to create a healthy organization which can learn and grow together in the space of the AI growth. And that can't be only, hey, IT is doing that. Because at the end, business must be involved. That also can't be only sales is doing that, or business, and throwing it onto the desk to the IT and saying, code it, take care, make it. It is really that they must grow together. And I know this is something, I've spoken to many, many organizations about that the last year, this year, also before. The main thing is the mood is there, the passion is there in the beginning, but really on the long run, it's getting difficult. And we must find a balance on that. We never will have the perfect environment, never ever, because it's live, it's real. But saying that, if we can, or if you can take out a little bit of that thinking in your project, and also how it affects to others what you are doing, then this is already, I think, a big success. So saying that, and as I was notified that my time is running out.
That's our fault.
No. I'm precise.
Swiss.
I'm precise. I'm precise. We discussed about the, but don't get me wrong. I wouldn't come up with that 1 minute. You started late, so but now I have to. No, I'm good. I'm good. No, but because of that, yeah, I hope you like a little bit to give you the possibilities to think about those things, because we know all that already. We have worked in that already a long time ago. It's nothing new. Only the tools are changing. And I like to have the picture like a Swiss knife. Most of you know the Swiss Army knife. And if you don't know, there next to the snacks, I have put some cards with the Swiss Army knife because I recently have written a book which will be available in October. Anyway, and there's the Swiss Army knife on. But also there is a corkscrew for the wine bottles. So you don't slice a bread with. So use the right tool in the right way, and sometimes give your audience, your colleagues, your peers the chance to think a little bit. Spend some time on that, and then I think it will be a good way of growth. And I recently have seen the last 3-4 months that organizations are starting to changing, to think. And this is really important that we do so. Saying that, I'm 27 seconds ahead of time.
It's what I expected. So I think I shortchanged Siggy a little bit here. So does anybody have any questions? If you don't mind, are you up for it? Anybody have any questions for him? Okay, of course Spoolie does.
How do we push that mentality when the world's focused on
Yeah, that is always the discussion which I am having with board people. And the main question is really what they want to get. What is their personal goal? At the end, it's nothing different. Those people are also human beings. Those top managers are. So, what are their goals? And the main thing is what I'm trying to do is to convince them, to motivate them, and to bring it almost together with their goal. It never will be 100%, but sorry for that. But it's important to give them a story because at the end they have to have a story which they can buy in. And one sentence, because you have a SAP logo on that. Some 20 years ago, I was on a project and they wanted to go for a solution outside of SAP. And finally, the CIO decided, no, we stay with SAP. No, we start with SAP. They haven't had SAP in that time. And he said, you know why? Because it covers my ass. Because there's a Gartner study which is telling I'm right. So if my board is shouting to me, I show them the Gartner study. You see, and that's why we have to try to convince, to motivate those people, aligning to their goals, aligning with them, and this is only communication. This is not artificial, this is human behavior.
Events? Going once, going twice. Siggy.
Thank you.
He did travel quite a ways to get here. I mean, technically.
Yeah, just a little bit around. But I made 7 states in the last 3 weeks. And before I was came from Switzerland, on end of the month, I'm flying back to Switzerland. And tonight I got an email from Switzerland, and sometimes it's really difficult to be seen local as a person which is the people listen to. I got a call from the Swiss Agile conference in August to be there a speaker, and it's a big honor to me to be a speaker in their own territory. The only problem is the day before I will be in South Carolina in the morning on a cybersecurity conference talking about cybersecurity and maturity. But I booked already with a flight. So after the conference in South Carolina, I will jump to the airport, flying back. And the session, I could convince the people in Switzerland that my session is in the afternoon. So in total, I have about 36 hours. So to go over, but I will take that. Thank you.